Well, you've taken the king's shilling and you're stuck. What happens next? Let's talk about it on today's shave. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. We were just talking about what happens to a British citizen once he's been enlisted into the army. And that's an interesting story in itself. I had a couple of fellows question me or ask questions. What happens to the poor guy after he walks out of the pub? Well, I think we said he never does make it home. And that's completely true. The candidate was under pretty close watch once he's made his commitment by taking the token. Says, yeah, I'll join. And just like the Navy recruiter here in America, they got the hooks in you and they don't let go. What happened quite a bit often is you put up for the night with maybe the other guys that he's rounded up in that town where he's at, villages and whatnot. And after you've sobered up, maybe the next morning, maybe that same night, you're told your training begins almost right away. You're told how to stand here, hold this, maybe, and then you're marched on a route, probably meeting up with other recruiting officers and their catch of the day, and your group gets bigger and bigger of other guys also didn't make it home until you get to a regimental area. Now the training for a British army, or even any of the armies of that day, is not standardized, and most of it's run by the regiment that you picked up, and it's very much on the model of a local militia. So you have a local, like a neighborhood army almost, like, and you're given equipment, you're given a uniform, and most of your first week or so, certainly the first day or so, you spent marching around picking up everybody else. So learned how to march, learned how to kind of be together, and you're also included with other guys in that unit, that regiment. So you have experienced soldiers, just like the militia. You have experienced guys, and you have sergeants trying to instruct you, and you have a bunch of guys muddling through just like you are. And you're taught how to march, you're taught how to, your manual of arms, you know, how to use your firearms, how to be a soldier. You're given a small stipend to operate on, and you're cautioned to not use it for drinking and whatnot. But you know, there's a lot of guys that get rounded up aren't going to do that, so you're going to have a lot of guys getting in trouble. But those that do conform, learn how to be a soldier, could expect to see personal and social growth. In other words, you get promotions, you get a little bit more money. You do have a chance of becoming a gentleman, which you've heard, no doubt. The phrase officer and a gentleman, which that comes from Army doctrine, that officers were gentlemen, and they were just like a different social class than the private soldier. So you have an opportunity for that, which you wouldn't normally have in a common society in the 18th century. So a lot of the things that we hear about the recruiting, you know, it was kind of quick. It could be kind of rough, but it wasn't bad. It was just the way it was, and have to kind of keep that in mind when we think of the lens of time looking back. It's just things were just done differently in those days. They expected some things to be a certain way. It wasn't a surprise. And that's how soldiers ended up, how we got soldiers on the field. Just 3 or 4 weeks before, they were sitting in the pub and took a token from an officer or a recruiting person, and then after some marching and training, here they are. Our aftershave today is spaghetti western from CPL soaps. This is pretty good stuff. I use the matching soap, and I failed to say anything about it when I was doing it because I get so excited about this story. But got a great shave with the feather, and thank you so much for coming to see me. I'm Made Rich. You find me at shavingcodger.com. Please leave a like, subscribe if you're so inclined, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.